Today, I want to share a story that will warm your heart and light a fire inside you. It's about a young girl with a big dream, one that shines brighter than all the difficulties around her. Imagine living in a small village with little money where life feels hard and the future seems far away. Yet, inside this girl, hope burns strong. She wants more than just to survive. She wants to grow, learn, and help her family. This story is not just about one girl. It's about all of us who face challenges, who feel doubt, but still believe in something bigger. You will hear how she moves step by step toward her dream, even when the world tells her to give up. You will see how small actions can change a life, how courage grows from fear, and how hope can light the darkest nights. Whether you are learning English or chasing your own dreams, this story will inspire you to keep going. It will help you improve your reading, listening, and speaking skills while showing you that no matter where you start, you can reach your goals. So, get ready to travel with this brave girl, from her humble village to a new world full of challenges and chances. Let her journey remind you that dreams are possible, and every step forward counts. Let's begin this powerful story together, and remember, your dream is never too big to chase. Chapter 1. A Simple Life and a Big Dream. In a small, quiet village surrounded by fields and hills, lived a young girl named Maya. Her home was small and simple, a few wooden walls and a tin roof that rattled in the wind. Money was very scarce in her family. Every day, Maya's parents worked hard in the fields, but the harvest was never enough to bring much comfort. Despite these struggles, Maya's world was full of warmth, laughter, and love. Each morning, Maya woke up early before the sun rose. She helped her mother prepare breakfast, a small bowl of rice and some vegetables from their garden. Then, she walked to the village school, a tiny building with peeling paint and broken windows. The school did not have many books, but Maya loved learning. She dreamed of a day when she could read many stories and understand the world beyond her village. Even though life was hard, Maya found joy in the little things. She had a best friend named Lila, and they often played by the river, watching the water flow and catching frogs. They talked about their hopes and wishes, sharing dreams that felt bigger than the small village around them. At night, after her family had eaten dinner by the small fire, Maya would sit outside and look up at the stars. The sky seemed endless, and each shining star was like a promise of something better. Maya's biggest dream was simple but powerful. She wanted to become successful, not just for herself, but to help her family live a better life. She imagined one day leaving the village to find work in a big city, learning new skills, and earning enough money to send back home. This hope was like a bright light inside her heart, stronger than any fear or sadness. The contrast between Maya's hard daily life and her bright dreams made her story special. On one hand, there was the quiet village with its small homes and empty pockets. On the other, there was a world full of possibilities waiting for her. It was not easy to believe in this future when the present was so difficult. Sometimes, Maya felt tired and discouraged, especially when she saw how much her family struggled. But her dreams gave her strength to keep going. Maya's parents saw her hope and quietly supported her. They knew the world outside the village was challenging, but they also believed in their daughter's courage. Her father once told her, "The road is not easy, but your heart will guide you." These words stayed with Maya, reminding her that her dreams were worth fighting for. One afternoon, Maya found a broken old book near the school. The pages were torn and dirty, but it was full of stories about people who worked hard and changed their lives. She read it again and again, learning new words and ideas. Each story gave her more courage to believe that she too could create her own future. At night, as she looked at the stars, Maya whispered to herself, "I will make my family proud. I will make a better life." The quiet village seemed small, but inside her, a big dream was growing, ready to take the first step toward something greater. This simple life, full of love and hardship, was only the beginning. Maya's story was about to change. She would soon face many challenges, but the hope inside her heart was strong enough to light her way. And so, under the vast sky filled with stars, a girl with a dream was ready to start her journey. Chapter 2. Facing the First Obstacles. After dreaming so much about a better future, Maya's journey began. But it was not easy. The small village she loved was filled with people who understood hard work, but few believed in dreams as big as hers. When Maya told some neighbors and even distant relatives about her hope to study and find a new life, many shook their heads. "Why waste time on dreams when you have work to do?" they said. "Girls like you don't leave the village. You should be content." These words hurt deeply. Maya felt a heavy weight in her chest. Sometimes she sat alone by the river, staring at the flowing water, wondering if her dream was just a foolish hope. She was scared of failing, of disappointing her family, and of stepping into a world she did not know. The path ahead looked dark and full of unknown dangers, but inside her, a small flame of courage kept burning. Maya remembered the stars she loved to watch, their bright light shining across the darkness. "If they can shine so far away," she thought, "maybe I can find a way too." She refused to give up, even when the world told her to forget. The first obstacle was money. School fees were too high for her family, and books were expensive. Without money, Maya could not join better schools or buy the books she needed. But she was resourceful. She started borrowing old books from the village school and from the teacher. The pages were worn, the words sometimes hard to understand, but Maya read every sentence carefully. She practiced reading aloud and tried to write new words in the dirt outside her home. She also asked questions, many questions. At school, she stayed after class to speak with her teacher, who noticed her passion and gave her advice. In the market, she listened to travelers who spoke different languages. Even though Maya did not always understand everything, she felt her world slowly growing larger. Some days were harder than others. There were moments when Maya felt very alone, watching other children with their new books and uniforms, while she sat quietly without much. She sometimes cried in secret, wishing she had more, but every morning she woke with a promise to herself. She would try one more time, one more step. Maya's family worried for her too. Her mother said, "It's a hard road, child. Be careful." Her father warned, "The world outside is not always kind." But they never stopped loving her or believing in her, even if they did not fully understand the dream she chased. Her courage grew from these small efforts. Each borrowed book, each question, each quiet moment of learning built a bridge from her small village to a bigger world. She was learning not just words, but the power of belief and persistence. The voices of doubt still echoed sometimes, but Maya's heart was louder. She understood that courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. The fear of failure stayed with her, but it no longer controlled her. This difficult time, full of challenges and small victories, became the foundation of Maya's journey. It was here that she learned a powerful lesson. Success does not come from comfort, but from facing obstacles with hope and strength. Slowly, the dream inside Maya grew clearer. She knew the road ahead would be long and uncertain. The village was too small to hold her future. And so, after many nights spent looking at the stars and imagining what could be, Maya made an important choice, a choice that would change her life forever. She decided it was time to leave the village, to take a risk, to step into the unknown, and to find new paths toward her dream. It was a decision filled with fear and hope, sadness and excitement, but most of all, it was a promise to herself to never stop trying. With her heart full of courage and her mind set on the future, Maya took her first brave step beyond home, ready to face whatever came next. Chapter 3. Leaving Home for a New World. Maya's heart pounded as she stepped onto the dusty road that led away from her village. The place she had known all her life, the narrow paths, the familiar faces, the quiet nights under the stars, was behind her now. In front lay the city, a vast, noisy place full of lights and people moving fast in every direction. It was nothing like the calm and simple life she had left. At first, the city felt like a giant maze. Tall buildings blocked the sky, and cars honked loudly. Voices shouted in languages she barely understood. The streets were crowded, and strangers brushed past her without a word. Maya felt small and lost in this strange, busy world. But deep inside, her dream still burned bright. She reminded herself why she had come: to find a better life, to learn, and to help her family one day. That thought gave her courage, even when she was scared. In the city, Maya met many different people. Some smiled warmly and offered help. One kind woman gave her food when she looked hungry. A teacher at a small school listened to her story and encouraged her to keep learning. These moments gave Maya hope and reminded her that kindness still existed, even in a big city. But not everyone was kind. Maya quickly learned to be careful. Some people saw her as an easy target because she was young and alone. A few tried to trick her with empty promises or demanded money for things she could not afford. These experiences scared her, but they also made her stronger. Maya understood she had to trust her heart, but stay alert. Finding work was another challenge. Without money or education, jobs were hard to come by. Maya cleaned houses, carried bags in markets, and did small jobs wherever she could. The work was tiring and often paid little, but it was a start. Each day she earned a few coins. She felt closer to her dream. Finding a safe place to stay was difficult too. At first, Maya slept in crowded shelters or on benches in quiet parks. She missed the warmth of her family's home, the soft beds, the familiar smells, and the safety she once took for granted. The city was cold and sometimes lonely, but Maya kept reminding herself this was part of the journey. Every evening, after a long day, she found a quiet corner and looked up at the city sky. Though the stars were harder to see behind the bright lights, she imagined the same stars she had watched in her village. They reminded her of hope, of dreams that could cross any distance. Maya's days were filled with struggle, but also with growth. She learned to speak more clearly, to understand the city's rhythm, and to trust her own strength. Each small success, finding work, making a friend, learning a new word, was a step forward. Her journey was a mixture of fear and excitement. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, but also hope for a new beginning. The city, with all its noise and challenges, was teaching Maya lessons she had never learned before. In the midst of this new world, Maya discovered a chance, an opportunity to learn. A community center offered free classes for people like her, those who wanted to study but had no money. When Maya heard about it, her heart leapt. This was the moment she had been waiting for. Though tired and sometimes discouraged, Maya felt a new energy rising inside her. The cold streets of the city were no longer just a place of fear, they were a place of hope and possibility. This was not the end of her struggle. It was only the beginning of a new chapter, where courage and determination would shape her path. Maya was ready to take the next step, to learn, to grow, and to keep her dream alive in a world much bigger than she had ever imagined. Chapter 4. The Power of Small Steps. Maya woke up early every morning, her body still tired from the day before, but her mind full of hope. She had found a small job washing dishes in a local cafe. It wasn't much, and the pay was little, but it gave her something important, a reason to keep going. Every coin she earned brought her closer to her dream. One day, while working, she met Mr. Lee, a kind man who ran a community center nearby. He saw Maya's tired but determined face and asked her about her story. When she told him about her dream to learn English and help her family, he smiled and offered her free lessons. For Maya, this was like finding a hidden door in the huge city, a door that led to new knowledge and new chances. At first, learning English was difficult. The words sounded strange, and the letters looked confusing. Sometimes Maya felt frustrated and wanted to give up, but Mr. Lee reminded her that every big achievement starts with small steps. "One word at a time," he said gently. "One day at a time." So Maya practiced every day. She listened carefully to Mr. Lee's lessons, repeated the new words again and again, and tried to use them whenever she could. Slowly, the strange sounds began to feel familiar. She could say hello clearly, ask simple questions, and understand short sentences. Each small victory made her heart swell with pride. Her days were busy but full of purpose. After work, she walked to the community center, eager to learn. Sometimes she would help other students too, sharing what she had just learned. It felt good to teach, even a little. It made her feel strong and useful. Maya also started reading simple English books. At first, she could only recognize a few words, but day by day, those words turned into sentences, and the sentences told stories. When she understood a whole paragraph, she felt a joy she had never known before. It was as if a new world was opening up, just for her. There were moments when Maya struggled. Sometimes she confused words or forgot what she had learned. She made mistakes, and that made her feel small and unsure. But she didn't let those moments stop her. She remembered her dream, and that kept her moving forward. The slow progress was hard to see day by day, but over time, Maya noticed changes in herself. She spoke with more confidence, and her eyes shone with a quiet strength. People began to listen when she spoke, and that gave her even more courage. Maya's story shows something powerful. Big dreams don't come true all at once. They grow slowly, like a tiny seed pushing through the soil. Every small step, every word learned, every problem solved is like water and sunlight helping that seed grow stronger. As the weeks passed, Maya's patience began to pay off. The fear that had once held her back started to disappear. Instead, a new feeling grew inside her, belief in herself. She knew that she could face challenges and find a way forward. One afternoon, after finishing her lesson, Maya sat quietly and thought about how far she had come. She smiled softly. The city was still big and noisy, but now it felt a little less scary. The dream she carried in her heart was no longer just a wish. It was becoming real. This turning point was important. Maya realized that courage is not always about huge actions or fast success. Sometimes courage is about patience and small steps taken day after day. It is about never giving up, even when progress seems slow. The power of small steps gave Maya a new strength. She was ready to keep learning, to keep growing, and to keep chasing her dream, no matter what came next. And with that quiet confidence, Maya took her next step forward, one small, brave step that would lead her to a future full of hope. Chapter 5. When Doubt Creeps In. Even as Maya's English slowly improved and her small victories grew, a quiet shadow began to follow her, doubt. It crept in like a cold wind on a warm day, surprising her when she least expected it. Some nights, after a long day of work and study, she would sit alone in her small room, missing her family deeply. The laughter of her brothers, the warm hugs of her mother, the peaceful silence of her village, all felt so far away. She had left everything she knew to chase a dream. But now, tired and lonely, she sometimes wondered if the dream was too big, too far out of reach. Was it foolish to believe she could change her life when the world seemed so harsh? Her body ached from the hard work, and her mind felt heavy from trying to learn so much at once. Around her, not everyone believed in her. Some people said she was wasting her time. "You're just a girl from a poor village," they would say. "Why dream so big?" Their words stung, and sometimes Maya felt her courage weaken. She asked herself, what if they are right? What if I can't do it? These moments of fear and loneliness made Maya feel small and fragile, like a tiny boat lost in a huge storm. But deep inside, a quiet flame of hope still burned. It flickered, sometimes barely alive, but never gone. She thought of her family and their sacrifices. She thought of the stars she used to watch in her village, the same stars that seemed to shine just for her dreams. Maya's heart was caught between two forces, hope and despair, strength and vulnerability. This struggle made her human like all of us. It showed that courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to keep going even when fear is loud. One evening, after a long day, Maya almost gave in to her exhaustion. She felt like the weight of the world was on her shoulders. But then, she remembered a simple truth her mother had told her long ago. A strong tree grows because it bends in the wind, not because it breaks. That thought gave her a new kind of strength. A strength that did not come from doing everything perfectly, but from refusing to break. Maya wiped her tears, took a deep breath, and made a promise to herself. She would keep going. She would face the hard days, the loneliness, and the doubt. Because giving up was not an option. She understood now that her journey would not be easy. It would have hard moments, moments that test not just her skills, but her heart. And she was ready to meet those tests, one by one. This choice, to keep moving forward despite the pain, was a powerful step. It changed Maya in a way that no lesson or book could. It made her brave in a quiet, steady way that would carry her through the challenges ahead. As the night grew darker outside her window, Maya looked at the stars again. They did not promise an easy path, but they promised light in the darkness, and that was enough for her to hold on. Her story was far from over. The next challenge was waiting, ready to test her courage and all she had learned so far. But Maya was no longer the frightened girl who had left her village. She was a young woman with a fire in her soul, ready to face whatever came next. And with that fire, she took her next breath and her next step forward. Chapter 6. The Big Test. The day of the big test arrived faster than Maya expected. For weeks, she had prepared with all her heart. Every morning before sunrise, she practiced English words and phrases. Every evening, she read borrowed books by the dim light of her small lamp. The exam was not just a paper on a table, it was the key to a future she had only dreamed about. As the morning sun rose, Maya's heart raced with a mix of excitement and fear. She felt the weight of all those quiet nights and early mornings pressing down on her shoulders. What if she forgot everything? What if the questions were too hard? What if she failed? But she also remembered the faces of the people who had believed in her. Her teacher who gave her free lessons, the friends who shared their notes, and her family back in the village, waiting for her success. Their faith gave her courage. She whispered to herself, "I have worked hard. I am ready." When she entered the room, she saw many other students, some confident, some nervous like her. The silence before the test began felt heavy. The paper was placed in front of her, and Maya took a deep breath, steadying her hands. The first question was hard. She paused, then slowly started to write. Each question seemed more difficult than the last. Sometimes her mind felt like it was trapped in a fog, but she did not give up. She pushed through the fear, remembering her small victories, each new word learned, each lesson understood. Time passed slowly. Her hand grew tired, and the clock ticked loudly. But Maya stayed focused. She told herself, "I can do this. I am stronger than my fear." When the test ended, relief washed over her like a warm wave. She had done her best, and that was all she could do. Walking out of the room, she felt a strange mix of exhaustion and hope. The days waiting for the results were the hardest. Maya's mind went back and forth between fear and faith. What if the results were bad? What if everything she worked for was lost? Finally, the day came. Maya held the paper in her hands, her eyes scanning the numbers and letters. A smile slowly spread across her face. She had passed. Not only that, she had done better than she imagined. This moment was more than a test result. It was a turning point. Maya felt a rush of joy and pride. She had faced her biggest fear and come out stronger. The journey had not been easy, but this success was proof that her dreams were real and possible. With this achievement, new doors opened. Opportunities for better jobs, more learning, and a brighter future began to appear. Maya's hard work was finally paying off, but she knew this was just the beginning. The test had shown her something important. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the choice to act despite it. And with this courage, Maya was ready for whatever came next. Her story was no longer just about dreams. It was about taking real steps toward making those dreams come true. And as she looked ahead, she felt a new strength inside her, a strength born from facing doubt and choosing hope. Chapter 7. A Step Forward. When the news came, Maya could hardly believe it. She had passed the test. Not only that, but she was offered a job at a small office where she could use the skills she had worked so hard to learn. It felt like a dream turning real, a bright light cutting through the long shadows of doubt and struggle. For the first time in a long time, Maya smiled with pure joy. Her dream was no longer just a wish. It was becoming her reality. She was earning money, small but enough to help herself and send a little to her family back in the village. The feeling of independence warmed her heart, like sunshine on a cold morning. But life did not suddenly become easy. The job was new and demanding. Maya had to learn quickly, sometimes working long hours and facing problems she had never seen before. Sometimes she made mistakes. At times she felt tired and worried. The road ahead was not smooth, but now she faced it with a strength born from experience. Every morning, Maya woke up earlier than before, ready to face the day. She remembered how hard it was to learn English, and now she used it every day at work. Slowly, her confidence grew. She began to speak more clearly and understand more of what others said. This progress, small but steady, gave her hope. Her co-workers were kind to her, but not everyone was easy to trust. Maya learned to be careful, to stand up for herself, and to keep her goals close to her heart. These new challenges tested her in ways she had not expected, but they also made her stronger. Sometimes, when Maya felt tired or lonely, she looked up at the stars and remembered the nights back in her village. She thought about her family and the dream that had brought her so far. This helped her push through the hard moments. The dream was still alive, shining brightly inside her. Maya's story was no longer just about escaping poverty. It was about growing every day. Each small step forward built on the last, like bricks in a strong wall. She understood now that success was not a single moment, but a journey of many steps, some easy and some difficult. This new phase of her life taught her patience. She learned that it was okay to struggle, and that setbacks were part of the process. With every challenge, she found new reasons to keep going, new ways to believe in herself. Her friends and family began to see her differently. They saw a young woman who was not only dreaming, but also acting. Maya felt proud, but she stayed humble. She knew the road ahead was still long. This balance between joy and struggle made her story real and inspiring. It showed that success is possible, but must be earned with courage, effort, and hope. Maya's life was changing slowly but surely, and each day brought her closer to the future she imagined. As she moved forward, Maya felt ready to face whatever came next. She carried her dream like a torch, lighting the path ahead. And with every step, she grew stronger, more confident, and more sure that she could reach the life she wanted. The journey was far from over, but Maya was no longer afraid. She was walking forward with open eyes and an open heart, ready to learn, to grow, and to shine. Chapter 8. Giving Back. Maya's life was changing in many ways, but one change surprised her the most. As she grew stronger and more confident, she found a new dream beginning to take shape, a dream not just for herself, but for others too. The girl who once felt alone and afraid now wanted to help those around her. At first, it started simply. Maya remembered how hard it had been to learn English and find work. She knew many young children in her neighborhood face the same problems she once did. They had big dreams, but little chance to reach them. So Maya began to share what she knew. She offered small lessons to the children near her home, teaching them English words and encouraging them to believe in themselves. The children looked up to her with bright eyes, eager to learn. Maya's heart felt full in a way it never had before. She realized that her dream had grown beyond herself. It had become a light for others, a way to bring hope to people who needed it most. Her family also felt the change. Maya was now able to support them in ways she never imagined. She helped pay for her younger brother's school fees and brought home small gifts for her parents. The pride and gratitude in her family's eyes gave her strength and joy. She was no longer just a girl with a dream. She was a leader in her community, a source of inspiration. But Maya's new role was not always easy. Sometimes the weight of responsibility felt heavy. She worked hard, balanced her job, her lessons, and her family's needs. There were days when she felt tired and wondered if she could do it all. Yet, every smile from a child who learned a new word, every thank you from her family, reminded her why she kept going. Looking back, Maya thought about the loneliness she had felt when she first left her village. The fear, the uncertainty, it all seemed far away now. In its place was connection. She was part of a community that lifted each other up. Her dreams no longer belonged just to her. They belonged to everyone she helped. This deep connection gave Maya a new understanding of success. Success was no longer just about money or a good job. It was about kindness, giving, and making a difference. Maya saw that true happiness came from helping others find their way. Her story was no longer just about one girl's journey. It was about the power of dreams to grow, to reach beyond ourselves, and to change the world around us. Maya's courage and persistence had brought her to this moment, a moment of purpose and hope. As she taught the children and supported her family, Maya felt a peaceful joy. She knew her path was still full of challenges, but now she walked it with a heart open to giving and receiving. Her dream had become bigger, and with it, her strength. This new chapter of her life showed that growth is not only about achieving your own goals, but also about lifting others up. Maya's journey had come full circle. From a lonely girl with a dream, she had become a leader with a mission. And so, Maya's story continued, not just as a tale of personal success, but as a story of kindness, courage, and the beautiful power of giving back. Her dream had become a light, shining for all who followed. With this new purpose in her heart, Maya was ready to face the future, knowing that the true meaning of success was in the love and support we share with others. Chapter 9: The Challenge of Staying Strong. Even though Maya had come far, life did not become easy. Success was not a straight path, and every day brought new challenges she had to face. Sometimes, problems at work made her feel tired and frustrated. Sometimes, unexpected things happened. A family member got sick or money was tight. These moments tested her in ways she had never imagined. Maya learned quickly that life was full of ups and downs. Just when she thought things were going well, something would change. At first, these challenges made her feel weak and uncertain. She wondered if she was strong enough to keep going. The doubts whispered in her mind. Is this really worth it? Maybe you should stop. But Maya remembered the dreams she carried in her heart, the hope that had guided her from the beginning. She realized that staying strong was not about never falling or never feeling tired. It was about getting up again after falling and moving forward even when the road was hard. There were days when Maya felt like giving up, but she chose to be patient with herself. She understood that growth did not happen all at once. Sometimes it was slow and quiet, like a small seed growing under the soil. It took time, care, and sometimes a little struggle. With each challenge, Maya became more flexible and wiser. She learned to ask for help when she needed it. She talked to friends who encouraged her and gave advice. She found new ways to solve problems, and she did not fear making mistakes. Every difficulty became a lesson, a chance to grow stronger inside. Maya's story showed that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to keep going despite fear. It is the strength to face uncertainty with hope in your heart. She learned to balance hope with reality, understanding that life was not perfect, but still beautiful and full of possibility. Even when the future seemed unclear, Maya held on to her dreams. She knew that hard work and patience were the keys to shaping a better life. The struggles she faced did not make her weaker. They made her wiser and more determined. Her journey was far from over, but now Maya had the experience and strength to face whatever came next. She knew that challenges were a natural part of life, and that true success was about how we respond to them. This lesson of resilience and hope was one of the most important gifts Maya had gained. It reminded her, and all of us, that dreams require not only passion, but also patience and courage through difficult times. As Maya looked toward the future, she felt ready to continue her journey with a steady heart. She understood that life's challenges were not the end, but part of the story. A story of growth, strength, and the power to keep moving forward. This awareness led Maya closer to understanding the true meaning of success. A meaning that goes beyond achievement, to include the strength to endure, learn, and inspire. And so, with this lesson in her heart, Maya prepared for the next chapter. A chapter where dreams and hard work come together to shape a life full of meaning and hope. Chapter 10. Dreams are possible. Maya sat quietly by the window, looking out at the night sky. The stars twinkled softly, just like they did when she was a little girl in her small village. Back then, life had been hard. Money was always short, and the world felt very small. But even in the darkness, Maya had a bright dream, a dream that kept her going through every struggle. Now, after many years of hard work and challenges, Maya was not the same girl anymore. She had grown stronger, wiser, and more hopeful. The girl who once felt scared and alone had become a young woman full of courage and determination. She had learned that dreams were not just wishes, but powerful goals that could change lives. Maya thought about her journey, the long path from her village to the city, from fear to courage, from doubt to confidence. She remembered the moments when she wanted to give up, the nights she cried quietly, and the days she felt tired. But she also remembered the small victories, the kind people who helped her, and the times when she felt proud of herself. Her story was not perfect. It was full of mistakes and lessons. But it was real, and it showed something important. No matter where you start, No matter how hard things seem, dreams are possible. Maya wanted to tell everyone who listened to her story. Believe in your dreams. Even if the road is difficult and others say you cannot do it, keep going. Your dreams are your strength. They give you hope when times are tough and guide you toward a better future. She knew that courage was not being fearless, but choosing to move forward despite fear. She understood that learning is a lifelong journey. Every new word, every new step brings you closer to your goals. And she believed deeply in the power of never giving up, no matter how many times you fall. Maya's message was warm and simple. You have the power to change your life. Your dreams can come true if you work hard, stay patient, and believe in yourself. Life will bring challenges, but those challenges can make you stronger, just as they made her stronger. For those learning English, Maya had a special wish. She hoped her story would inspire them to keep practicing, to keep listening, reading, and speaking, because learning a new language is also a way to open doors to new opportunities, new friendships, and new dreams. As Maya looked up at the stars, she smiled. Her journey was not finished, but she felt ready for whatever came next. She knew that with courage and hope, every step forward was a step toward a brighter tomorrow. And now, Maya invited everyone listening to join her on this journey, to find their own dreams, to face their fears, and to believe in the amazing power inside themselves. Because in the end, dreams are not just for some people. They are for everyone who is brave enough to chase them. This was Maya's gift to the world, a story of struggle, strength, and hope, a story that shows us all that no matter where we come from, we can grow, we can learn, and we can reach for the stars. So, keep learning, keep dreaming, and never stop believing. Your story is just beginning. Thank you for listening to this story about a girl with a dream and no money. Her journey shows us something very important. Life is full of ups and downs, but if we keep believing and working hard, we can change our future. She started with little hope and many problems, but she never gave up. Step by step, she grew stronger and found new chances. This story is a reminder for all of us. Sometimes we feel tired or scared. Sometimes people say our dreams are too big. But that does not mean we should stop. Courage is not about never being afraid. It is about moving forward even when we feel afraid. Learning a new language or reaching any goal is a journey. It takes patience, effort, and heart. I hope this story inspired you to keep going with your English learning and your own dreams. Remember, every small step you take is a step closer to success. Find your courage, keep practicing, and believe in yourself. Your story is still being written, and your dreams are waiting for you to reach them. If you like this story, please subscribe and join us here. We have many more stories and lessons that will help you grow in English and in life. Keep dreaming, keep learning, and never stop believing in yourself. Your future is bright, just like the stars Maya once looked at in her village. See you next time.